All right, so it's 2026, and for the last couple of months, I want to say around 6 months now, we have been blessed by the government. And what I mean by that is we are seeing an increasingly high standard for web design and user experience for government websites. I did not expect this. I mean, it's notorious for governments to create the most abhorrent user experiences online. So to see this happening is exciting for somebody like me who loves web design, web development. But it's not that simple. There's actually a pretty deep rabbit hole. Well, it's deep for what we're talking about. So we're going to dive into a couple of the websites that I've come across, um, the people designing them, which is an interesting read, and where this all comes from. So I think the first thing I want to talk about, and this stuff, I mean, when I saw this and I started realizing like what was actually happening here, I was like, holy shit, this is huge. So essentially, Donald Trump made an executive order for good design. And here is the article on whitehouse.gov. And I'm not going to read it all, but basically what it's saying is they are going to put effort and, they're basically just going to try and make good looking websites and experiences. Right now we have front end experiences for basic government websites, but they're going to extend this into portals and actual things that Americans have to use for stuff, which is super cool. So, here is the whitehouse.gov article about it, and that's what they talk about. So, right here is pretty interesting, and I'll quote this. With this order, I am announcing America by Design, a national initiative to improve experiences for Americans, starting by breathing new life into the design of sites where people interface with the government. It is time to update the government's design language to be both usable and beautiful. This effort will be facilitated by a new national design studio and by a new chief design officer. The chief design officer will help recruit top creative talent, coordinate with executive departments and agencies, and devise innovative solutions. So there it is. Again, whitehouse.gov. So we're going to take a look at that National Design Studio. This is their website. It's their logo. It's on a hamburger menu, which I thought it was at first, but very basic. Again, it is a design agency studio that is a government entity, which is crazy. But you can see it already that modern simplicity is definitely their motto here. No branding or anything like that except for their flag logo here, but they have a dev index and then they have a recruitment option right here. But this is their website. Nothing crazy. So the National Design Studio is leading the America by Design initiative, working to improve how Americans experience their government, online and in person, and the spaces in between. So we'll go to that dev index place. By the way, this takes to the actual website where they talk more about that. But this is the dev index. And it's kind of like a case study, I guess you can think of it as. But we even have the Cloudflare CTO creating a testimonial, which is kind of funny. But I do want to say that this button is too big. So, But we're going to take a look at some of the websites that they've created over the past couple of months. We have 5 different websites. So we have these right here, which we're going to go over. And we'll start with the latest and greatest, Eat Real Food. So this is realfood.gov. Refresh that so you can see this beautiful little intro. So this website is essentially just for the new food pyramid by RFK. We're not really going to talk too much about politics in this or any of that stuff, but we are going to talk about the beautiful website, right? It looks crazy good. I mean, they have back rumbler on a button. Oh my gosh. Look at that. It has a different color when you scroll, and it has like this new kind of gothic, bold sans typeface going on. So I wouldn't make this that state of our health. I don't know that I agree with the weight of that, but I am not the main designer here. I'm not the creative director. Anyway, we're going to scroll and just I want to let you know that this is me scrolling. So they do have like this interactive new age scroll thing where it hijacks your scrolling and feels like a presentation. Um, and then they have like this text on here, and they have like some pretty interesting JavaScript going on. So overall, a good looking website for a government a government entity website, whatever you want to call it. But check this out: they have this fruit that looks really well designed, and the art direction's there, and it doesn't really look like AI, and it looks like effort was put into it. So they have like these animations with these scroll based interactions, and again, a very fluid, modern, great looking website brought to you by the government. Look at this. This is cards sliding that are interactive. The United States government. Crazy to me. So again, you can see that this was designed and engineered in DC by National Design Studio. So you'll see that as a trend. But that was our first website. It looks just as good on mobile as it does desktop. In fact, I think it was designed mobile first because it looks even more incredible on mobile. We'll go to Genesis Mission. Again, another official website of the United States. And I'm not too sure exactly what this was. I wasn't really looking into it. But as we scroll, you can already see it feels like your new age modern startup. I mean, nothing crazy going on. But again, government website. And something that I thought was interesting about all these websites is that they do kind of have a brand identity, albeit simple, but it does exist. And like they have this really cool animation. Again, it feels like a startup more than it feels like a government organization. They even have like a collaborator client serve slider, which is crazy for a government organization, but I love to see it. And interactive stuff going on here. It looks great. So again, made by the same people, the National Design Studio. We'll go to TechForce, another very similar website, I guess you could call it. But a lot of these designs actually remind me of the Palantir art direction and branding. Very simple and has the same kind of sans fonts and stuff like that. So you could tell this is all by the same people because the design language doesn't really change all that much. It looks great though, and it doesn't have to change that much. In fact, I think having a standardized branding palette that can be applied and applicable to all government agencies and then have like very interesting flares here and there, I think that's a fantastic idea because you don't need to overcomplicate the branding of a government organization. No point in that. But to be able to tell them apart through whether it be a color or some sort of flare, whatever you want to consider it, I think that is a good idea. So, I thought that's pretty interesting. But this looks like AI, 100%. Now, this is probably the least interesting website. A huge FAQ, a call to action, again, on a government website. And you'll see who made this website. So that is techforce.gov. And then TrumpRx. So TrumpRx was an interesting one to me because as I was scrolling through the website, I remember the first time I came across this because it was my first interaction with this new age design in whatever you want to consider this, I guess you can say administration. And I was like, holy shit, this is a government website? You know what I mean? Like I was looking at this, I was like, no way. So when I saw this, I was like, well, that's interesting. But you can see that has like this really nice, very presidential tuxedo look to it. And the image looks great. Great art direction going on here. The colors look balanced. They have like this really nice grain effect on the photo. So love the way that looks. We have this very tight condensed sans font once again in this heavyweight variant. And again, it's just, I look at the paragraph and how they do their line spacing, and it all is up to today's standard. It looks like it was made by and curated by a professional studio and team of high-end designers and developers. And I do want to say that this is a fantastic way to spend taxpayer money. You want to make the user experience for government entities as as great as possible. It should not be stuck in 2001. Same thing could be said about architecture. If your architecture looks like shit as a government entity, then that kind of shows how you feel about your people. And I think the same way about websites. Websites are just as important. It's digital infrastructure now. So I love it. I think it's a great way to spend taxpayer money. That's an ideal political opinion, I guess. I didn't think I was going to go into politics like that today, but here we are. But this website looks crazy good. So again, the National Design Studio. So we'll take one look at the American by Design initiative, which is the executive order by Donald Trump. And this is also made by the same committee or studio, whatever you want to call it. Not much going on here. It's a consolidated high-level design version of that statement that we saw over here on the White House website. So nothing very interesting. It is definitely more candid and casual in its messaging. So yeah, I'm not going to read all this. If you guys want to read it, feel free. American by Design. And so that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about American by Design. I mean, I'll say one thing. I want to see more of this, not just in America, but all over the world. I want to see governments take care of their people and invest in real user experiences for these people. When I go to pay my taxes, I don't want to go through Intuit and pay all their, crazy fees and stuff like that. I want to go right on irs.com and I want to pay my taxes like that. I want there to be an AI calculator. It tells me exactly how much I owe and how much I'm getting back. And so the experience isn't just how things look. Experience is also how things feel and how people react and how familiar we are with the user experience. You know what I mean? So this is just a start. If they keep this initiative going and they go the full mile, by the end of Trump's term, we should have completely redesigned all of the digital infrastructure that's civilian facing, at least in the United States government. And that to me is a really good call. It doesn't matter who said it, who done it, who ordered it, who executive it, whatever. I don't care. We can all objectively agree this is good. So that's all I wanted to talk about today. I think it's interesting to see how well designed these things are. If you want to check out any of these links, I'll put them down below in the description so you can check out more there. And that's it. So we'll talk soon. See ya.